Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Beats. So today I'm going to be talking about six different plays in baseball. Four of them are going to be straight up just the games, the teams, and then two of them are going to be no run first inning. So I'm going to get right into it. Yesterday we did have a 1-1 day. Let me get right into it. So right here we're looking at the MLB team insights. This is the third link in the description. It's free. So basically what this does is it gives you the best performing teams versus the worst performing teams. And then it gives you a breakdown of basically how good one team is versus the other. So it's a matchup, notable matchup. What's up, Tim? Good morning. So one of the major things that I like to look at is this screen right here, because, for example, today the Guardians came up on like 4 different systems to take a look at the Guardians. And I'm staying away from it because of this reason right here. It says that they're ranked number 27th versus the Diamondbacks, which are number 4th. So, like I said, everything else is pointing towards the Guardians, but there's some contradictions, specifically this contradiction right here. So let me kind of go through very quickly what this is, and then I'll get right into the plays. I do have 4 different games I'm going to go through. I think only 2 of them survived, and I'm going to tell you why I'm skipping the other 2, and then I'm going to give you 2 no-run first inning. Those are already locked in. So you're going to get 4 different plays in this video for sticking around. Thank you guys for being here on a Sunday. What's up, man? Let's win. All right. So Astros have somehow crept up, and now they're number 1. I did not see that coming. I did take them like 3 days ago, but they're now number 1 in the last 14 days. Red Sox have dropped to number 2. These guys were top number 1 for a while, for like 2 or 3 weeks. Then the Braves, Diamondbacks, like I said, they're now number 4. So that's something to take a look at. The Padres have pretty much been sucking all year. Now they're getting somewhat decent. So it's a perfect time for them to heat up. So that's a good sign right there for the Padres. Cardinals are one of the worst teams right now, number 1 for worst. Athletics are very bad as well. Phillies. So one thing with the Phillies, again, that's a similar situation to the other team I was just talking about, the Guardians. Same thing. Everything was showing towards the Phillies, which I actually still like, and I'm going to tell you why. But there's something very important that you need to know, is that they kind of suck right here. So that's a big risk, but that's something that you need to be aware of before you go and place your bet. So, good morning. Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry. So Phillies are right there, number 3rd worst. Guardians are 4th worst, and then the Angels. So one other little side note. Yesterday, I knew this going in, and I was not going to place my bet at all on the Braves. But then they were in the 8th inning, and they were tied 1-1. So I took the Braves. They gave me great odds, and I took them. And then they ended up coming back and winning the game 3-1. The reason I was able to do that is because I keep tabs on stuff like this. I knew that these guys are sucking. They were tied in the 8th, and I went ahead and took the bet. So anyways, what I'm trying to say with all this is that this page that you're looking at right here, it's free, and you don't even have to put in an email or anything. So it's the 3rd link in the description, and if you want to refresh this every morning at 8:30 Central Time, this gets refreshed. So it's free, and just check it out. All right. One of the first things I like to look at besides that is the convergence tool. And this convergence tool, it gives you a breakdown. Either the line movement is good, or the sharp plays is good. And this tool right here is called the Sharp Edge. It's 7 days for free. So basically what this does is that it reads the sharp plays from the same page right here, sharp plays. And so let me just show you what that looks like, actually, the sharp plays. So what I noticed is that people that pay for this, I have analytics running in the background, and the number 1 page they look at is this one here, which is the sharp plays. So they come in here and they give you, it gives you a breakdown of all the games that are very strong, nuclear, or what's the other one? Nuclear, strong, and standard. So at this point in my career, I don't even look at the standards. I completely skip them. I look at the strongs and I look at the nuclears. On top of that, I get a bunch of other signals, something called a verdict, which I'm not going to show on here because that's VIP. But the verdict actually grabs this information also and looks at the rest of the stuff and starts it gives me a pointing direction on where I should be looking. So what's up, man? Good morning. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate you, man. I'm going to show you what happened yesterday. I did not like what happened because we had a decent bet and then it rained out, so they held the game for about an hour and a half, and then when they came back, they lost all momentum. So I'll show you what that is. We had the over on the Reds, and I'll show you exactly what happened there. I also took the UFC fights, and they won. Not the ones that I showed. I actually did deeper research. I just showed you the leans, and I did the deeper research, and then those two hit. So I'll talk about that. So anyways, on these sharp plays, it's showing Philly for a nuclear play, a confidence level of a 9. Miami money line, Cincinnati, Detroit and the Athletics on the under, and then Cleveland Guardians. Just like I showed you, the Cleveland Guardians I'm skipping because of what I just showed you with the low ranking, and there's other stuff on top of that. The other thing I don't like here is that the park for the Athletics is very small. So it's actually it gives you a percentage of how high the runs can be. It's basically got to take this like a Colorado park, because Colorado's up in the air and it gets a lot of hits, but this one is small. So I don't like the under on this one for that reason. Okay, so anyways, I'm skipping this one. The Reds, Miami, and Philadelphia I do like. Let me keep going. After we have all that information, we go into today's games, and it gives you the projections. So right here, you can see the projections do show that the Phillies are supposed to win. Nationals, Blue Jays, Diamondbacks, the Rays, the Marlins. One other thing with the Marlins I'll get into is the pitching for the Mets. It's actually a backup pitcher, and he sucks. Completely sucks. So I'll show you what that is. Cincinnati Reds is supposed to win. Houston Astros supposed to win. Royals is supposed to win. Milwaukee Brewers, Athletics, Mariners, Giants, and Dodgers. Okay, so those are the projections. Once we get into these plays here, so the first play I'm going to give you guys is the Phillies. Okay, so I will just tell you straight up, I do like the Phillies. I'll come back and show you exactly what that is, but let me show you what happened yesterday very quickly, and then I'll actually get into the no-run first innings also. So you're going to get 4 different plays in this video for sticking around. All right. So right here we took Medic. I did explain this guy yesterday. I also explained Valentine, and both of these was a 2-leg parlay at a plus 100 odds. As you can see, I doubled my money right there. So that was a pretty easy win. Then we come over here to the Reds. We had the over 8.5. As you can see right here, pretty much the first 6 innings they were scoring, they were getting momentum going, and then the rain delay caused this shit to stop, and the momentum stopped. When they came back, they didn't score at all the rest of the game. So it stayed 5 to a total of 5 runs rather than the 8.5 that we needed. So it is what it is. There's just stuff that we can't control. So it is what it is. This is the 2 plays I'm going to talk about for the no-run first innings. I'll explain them. It's going to be the same one, which is the Phillies and Pittsburgh. Okay, those are the 2 that I'm going to explain very quickly. But let me get into the actual game here. So the Phillies right here going against the Orioles. One thing with the Phillies, like I mentioned over here, is that they are lacking right now. They're lacking here as, what is this? Let me see, take a look here. They're actually 3rd worst right now overall. Okay, so the bats have been silent 5 out of the last 14 games. BP meltdown, meaning bullpen meltdown, and then the starter short, meaning they've been pulling the starter. I don't think that's going to happen today. Because they do have one of their best ace pitchers out there today. So this changes a lot of things because they do have one of their best pitchers, and he tends to go deep into the game. So those are very important details. Hey, man, would you run over the Pirates and Reds game? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Are you doing UFC today? No, I didn't. I just started doing UFC yesterday. So I was doing it before, and I just didn't like it the way I was doing the research. I explain, if you watch my yesterday's live, you'll see all the breakdown that I did for UFC. So anyways, I'm just starting back up. I'll take a look at it, but right now I do not have plans to do it, but I'll take a look at it. Not in this video, but I'll take a look at it. If you want access to that, make sure you go to link in the description, click on free picks. So that way, if I do post anything, you'll see it there. All right. So Phillies, again, 4-3 is the projection. You can see the win probability, 58%. Baltimore does lead, so it's pretty much a 50-50 in the categories, the stats categories. Wheeler is in the lead. He will dominate. Bullpen is a concern for Wheeler. So he does average about 5 innings. So if you don't want to take the extra exposure, you can take him at the first 5 innings, which maybe is what I should have done. I already locked it in on the money line, but I think they're going to win this game, and I'll explain more. Bullpen is healthier. You can see right here, 4.5 for Philly and 3.6 for Baltimore. Now, out of the five out of the 5 things for Phillies, which is this here, the convergence tool, you can see 5 out of the 6 things are aligned with the Phillies. Okay, this is another tool that I look at, and everything is pretty much aligning with the Phillies. So I'll just show you the pitching again, and then we'll go from there. But I am taking the Phillies if you want to lock that one in. On the money line, if you want to take less risk, it's maybe a little bit more expensive. Take the first 5 innings, because that'll lock it in towards Wheeler. So anyways, Phillies win from a 129 to a 136. The public is all over this. 91% of the money is on Phillies. The bets at 77%. So that's one thing I don't like to see, where the sharps align with the public, and that's what's happening in this game. But it is what it is. We can't control everything. Win probability 58%. Overall, in the last 39 games, whenever they started as a favorite, they're hitting at a 71% hit rate. The projections here actually, these are not projections. These are actual live odds from DraftKings. And what they're saying is that they'll give you the odds of under 4.5 for the Phillies, and then they'll give you the under 3.5 for Baltimore. So that's the reason it's showing green right there, is because that's favored over the other one. So what this does is says the market prices are towards Phillies 1 full run higher, 4.5 versus 3.5. So the Phillies do lean on the under, and it leans towards Phillies based on the odds. Okay, so again, those are live odds. Zach Wheeler is a much, much better pitcher. In general, you can see a FIP is better, ERA is better, strikeout rate is better. Pretty much every category is better. This guy's no bum. He is an elite pitcher, but he's not compared at all to Wheeler for Philly. So then on the bullpen, like I mentioned, the bullpen is a risk for if you're taking Philly. So just be aware of that. OPS is very similar, meaning on-base percentage. The batting is similar, and then everything else is similar. And like I said, the Phillies have been sucking lately, but so have the Baltimore Orioles. So just take all this stuff into consideration. I do like the Phillies. I'm going to take them on the money line. And like I said, if you want to limit your exposure, you can do what's called the first 5 innings. So let's see. Over 8.5 rain delay really messed up the momentum. Yeah, they did for sure. All right. So the Guardians is the other one that came up. Every kind of thing that I look at every day, it was pointing towards the Guardians. So the one thing that it didn't is the bottom 10 or the bottom 5 teams that I just showed you, which I'm not going to go back to right now. But that did show as them being sucking right now. Okay. Give me 1 second here. So I'm going back to this screen now, which is the convergence screen. And you can see the overall picture on this convergence screen does show that the expert insights are for Arizona. The OPS is towards Arizona. The last, what is this? The last, this thing here. Sorry for jumping around, guys, but I'm trying to show you a full picture here. So you can see number 4th ranked Diamondbacks versus the number 27th ranked Guardians. So I'm not touching this game. I already explained a lot of other things, but I'm not going to go deeper into that. But these are the kind of things that you should be aware of going into these games. Because if you did not know that, you can just kind of look at this and say, well, this looks good. Williams is elite, things like that. This is pointing towards Cleveland. The bullpen is rested, things like that. The line is shifting in their favor. So there is a lot of positives, but then there's also a lot of negatives. So whenever there's a contradiction like that, just stay away. I got 2 more games to go through, but first let me explain the no-run first inning. So far I've given you the Phillies, okay? This is the other one. Zach Wheeler, I already mentioned how good of a pitcher he is. Also, Bradish is very good. Both of these guys are elite pitchers. You can see the stats over here are pretty much all green, okay? If you take a look there. And then if we go down here, that's the pitching. So pitching is very, very strong for this game. So what we're looking at on this screen is the no-run first inning. I'm taking this one, so if you want to lock that one in too, it's going to be the Phillies and Baltimore no-run first inning. There is a slight risk that I'm going to point out, which is right here. If you look at Baltimore and their overall offense, you can see that their offense is number 5 right here. And in the last 3 games, they've gotten – give me a second. So in the last 3 games, they've gotten 33% hit rate. What this means, again, is that out of the last 3 games, they've gotten 1 game with the no run, with a run in the first inning. Plus, they're ranked 5th overall. So those are big risks right there that you have to be aware of. Now, the other thing with this is if you look at this here, which is the batting average for both of these guys, there's a 3.33 and a 2.63. So then again, so they're strong. They're ranked 5th in the last 3 games. They've gotten a run in the first inning. Both of these top 3 batters have gotten hits off of this pitcher. So those are the risks. But then if you look on the other side, Philly is green. There's no run over here for the projections, the matchups, the pitching overall, everything looking decent except for Baltimore might get this run. So just be careful with that. So I am taking that one, guys. These are the VIP picks that I have for today. If you guys want access to all of this, go to the link in the description, click on VIP, and these are all the plays that I threw out this morning before I started this live. So if you guys want access to this, you can check us out for 1 day, 1 week, things like that. All right. I'm going to talk about 2 more games, and then after this, but I am taking Pittsburgh and the Reds on the under no-run first inning, okay? The reason, again, is the strong pitching right here. You can see the overall picture is pretty strong right there. It's all green, so that's pretty decent. The one risk is this guy, Jake Magnum. Give me a second here. Jake Magnum does have a 6.67 batting average, so that is sort of a risk, and then the other 2 are pretty low overall. All these rest of the 5 other batters are pretty low, except for Jake Magnum. But I trust that this rank over here for Pittsburgh is not going to get it. The other risk on the other side is Cincinnati is ranked 10th. In the last 3 games, they've gotten 1 run. So there is some risks, but I do like the overall picture. If you just take a screenshot of this and look at the numbers, it looks very strong for the no-run first inning. So those are the 2 I'm taking for the no-run first inning, guys. Phillies, Baltimore, no-run first inning. Pittsburgh and Reds, no-run first inning. And I'm taking Philly. You can take them on the first 5 innings or the money line. All right. Now, let me see on this here. So now the Pirates versus the Reds. I do like the Reds. You'll see right here, win probability is 51%. Let me go back in here. Give me a second. 51%. If we look at the convergence screen, so this is why this screen is so damn strong, is that basically everything I'm talking about actually shows up right here. And it gives you a full breakdown without you even having to look at the full game. So I'm going to show you an example of what a shitty one looks like. Let me see. This one here, which is Cleveland. You see right away, expert insights, 81%, OPS is strong, and things like that. So let me go back in here. The Reds. So the win probability is strong. The deep research is strong. The expert insights is strong. The OPS is strong, on-base percentage, and then the projected runs is strong. So everything is strong towards the Reds. So I do like this game. Let me kind of go a little bit deeper into this. one contradiction does say the verdict. There's a convergence saying that it's on Pittsburgh, so that's a contradiction, just something to be aware of. Burns is an elite pitcher. Keller is below average. Cincinnati's bullpen is strong. You can see those numbers right here. It does say the final lean is strong towards Cincinnati. It's also saying to take a look on the over. I'm not touching that over. It burned us yesterday. 2 days ago, it won for us. Yesterday, it burned us. I'm not touching it again, but it is saying there's a slight lean on that game, especially being that two ace pitchers. I'm not touching it. So anyways, we go into the, what is this? The line move. It started at 147. It's currently at a 149, 67% bets, 73% of the money. So the public is all over this as well. One thing I will show you here is the expert insights is horrible for Pittsburgh. And again, all of this is already explained in that other convergence screen. But the only thing that does stand out here is the pitching. So let me just show you what this looks like. So you can see Chase Burns is a much better pitcher, 2.4 ERA, 3.42 FIP, which is very strong. This guy's considered an ace pitcher, and the other guy's not so much. He's just average. And then even the batting is better, pitching is better, bullpen is better. And then overall stats, the Pittsburgh Pirates are a little bit better on the overall stats, but because of the strong pitching, I'm taking the Reds. Last game, guys, I'm going to talk about is the Marlins. So this one is actually pretty straightforward. There's a lot of things pointing towards this game. And let me just kind of see what this looks like over here. So if we look at the Marlins here, you can see pretty much everything is aligned except the line move. So you got the win probability, you got the deep research, you got the expert insights, the OPS, they're number 3, and then you got the projected runs. Now, all of this is already good, looking good just on its own. But then you add the fact that these guys are throwing out just some random ass pitcher. It's not going to be good for the Mets, in my opinion. So if we go back over here, let's just kind of go through this very quickly. You can see Miami, they lead the categories, 9 out of 11 categories. It is saying to take a look on the under. I don't like that under because of what the pitching is just trash for the other team, for the Mets. Alcantara is a legitimate starter, averaging 7 innings. So this is very strong. Stock is an emergency opener. Stock is the guy's name for the Mets. New York's bullpen will carry the load. Even an elite pen can't fully compensate for Stock's damage. Let me just show you these numbers. So the line did start at 113 and went to a 117. The public is aligned with this. The Mets in the last 22 games have been straight trash at home. So then it does say the market is putting Miami 1 full run higher than the Mets. And then let me just show you what this is. This dude, they just kind of threw him out there. You can see he's got 0-0 as a starter. His FIP is 11, which is horrible. I mean, even a 5 is horrible. So this dude is literally like very, very, very bad. Robert Stock. FIP is very bad. ERA is very bad. And then you got Alcantara, which is an ace pitcher. And then the bullpen is somewhat better for the Mets, but that's not going to cover. And then on top of that, these guys are ranked number 3 to getting on base. So again, this is a very straightforward game. I'm not going to go deeper into these details. I do like Miami. I'm taking them straight up on the money line. So let me just recap what I talked about very quickly. So I do like the Reds. I explained everything there. I do like the Marlins. I explained everything there. I'm staying away from the Guardians because of the last 14 games. They've been sucking. They're actually 5th worst or 4th worst or something like that. So I'm staying away from that one. The Phillies, I'm taking it only based on the strong pitching from Wheeler. So again, if you want to take the first 5 innings or the money line, that's completely up to you how you want to play that. I'm taking it on the money line. I already locked it in, but I guess I should have looked at the first 5 innings instead. The projections do show, the sharp plays do show that the Phillies, Miami, Cincinnati, and I'm staying away from Cleveland. I already explained that. And the Athletics, I'm staying away from the under for the reasons I already talked about. And let's see. The last thing I'll talk about here, guys, is the no-run first innings. So Wheeler and Baltimore. So, sorry, Phillies and Baltimore under no-run first inning. And then Pirates in Cleveland, no run first inning. All right, guys. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you all. If you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. Make sure you share these videos whenever I post them. That'll really help boost the channel. Also, we did have a shitty day 2 days ago, and then yesterday was a 1-1 day. I'm going to start looking at the UFC a lot stronger, and that for being a first play like that where I did my own research in years, it was very, very strong. So I'm going to continue to be looking at UFC going forward. So if you don't want to miss out on that, go to the link in the description, click on free picks. Also check out the VIP. Let me see what this comment says. Philadelphia plus 2.5. The Reds plus 2.5 should be easy money. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, guys, let's have a great day. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you all.